Tá aí, THEOFLIX, o nome dele, kart 51.
O time Bravado tá em festa. 15 posições escaladas.
Subiu o Monte Everest.
Vem pra receber quadriculada. Lá, não foi da vida.
THEOFLIX vence de forma brilhante.
Da peça, destaque do jogo, tipo vampícia de baque. Não vou falar é que o esforço vence o talento. Gosto desse argumento.
Kart USA Winter Series 2025 opening event. Bob Howden alongside Alexander Searle in the Kart Chaser booth here at the Orlando Karting Center. 62 degrees trackside. You see some sun tomorrow, but that rain we had earlier today is gone. Let's have a look at the grid as we'll get set to go here with KA100 Jr., the main event for the day, first round of the season. theosalomao ends up on the pole position. The 815 he'll start alongside Alexander Vanchev. Vanchev was quick, won both his pre-finals, but it's a faster lap for Salomao that will give him the pole position, his whole group on the inside. Augustus Toniolo starting on the inside of row 2, Max Weiland on the outside P4.
Jose Alfin starts 5th place there on row number 3 alongside him. Travis Pettit behind them. Felipe Benito, Max Christea, Edward Kennedy, and Alessandro Truchot, your top 10.
Yeah, very quick top 10. Again, a new look kind of junior field as we see many years. A lot of drivers, top drivers have made their move up into the senior category. So time for the new guard to roll its way to the front. Alexander Vanchev and Theosalomao ready to battle it out for a race win. Also involved just outside the top 10, Victor de Alencar, most definitely in the fight in his pre-final, as was Tyrone Kemper Jr. They'll be on row number 6. Martin Jaramillo starting 13th alongside Isaac Melkit. We know that he'll be able to work his way forward as well. Marco Samet starting 15. Ashton Woon, one of the top drivers in the mini category last year. Dave Ewan Jr. this year starting in the 16th spot.
Eli Steinbrook and Julian Rivera, row number 9. Mateo Carteron, Sebastian Venegas. That's your top 20.
Big field of drivers, as we know, 44 strong here in KA100 Junior, top 22 from each of the races. Here are your next group here from 21st, 22nd on down. Juan Jose Paramo, Gabriel Balag in 22nd, Drew Jensen, Tristan Murphy, got Jensen Michelke there as well. 44 drivers to go, 22 from each of the pre-finals were able to transition into here. The rest we just ran in that B main. Everybody else getting themselves positioned. Some issues further back, but I think we did go green. We did have some drivers having some trouble at the tail of the field. One did actually come to a stop. Otherwise, the green flag's flying. We're back underway here. A 20-lapper for KA100 Junior. They'll dive their way into turn number 5 for the first time. Everybody racing pretty cleanly here. They're staying on the track, at least for the first half of the grid. One driver around right in the middle of the track. He's going to try to get re-rolling. He looks like potentially one of the Orsolon cars. But again, everybody else getting through cleanly. Indeed, one of the Orsolon cars further back. Alex, first couple of corners, opening lap in the books. A lot of action, a lot of drivers making moves forward.
Yeah, one of them being Max Weiland up the P3. Started on the outside of row number 2. But back at it here. One of the RPGs going back to the inside. That's the 866 machine through and back to P3. Yeah. Weiland looks back, sees Pettit in the all-green machine there in that 5th place spot. So far, pretty close up front. theosalomao up front, leading the way against the 2 RPGs behind him.
Yeah, Salomao doing good. That was actually the driver who started on the outside of the front row, Vanchev. Again, outside the front row, never an easy place to start, depending on the racetrack, and kind of got hung out to dry a little bit. He went back into the 3rd spot, but in both of his pre-finals, in both KA100 Junior and X30, Vanchev was dominant. So we'll see whether or not he settles in, shows some patience, and is able to go back to the front. Right now, Salomao, Toniolo, and Vanchev. That is your top 5, or top 3 rather. Max Weiland into the 4th spot. Travis Pettit, I believe, into the 5th spot. But that may have shaken up a little bit. I think Pettit may have lost another spot. I think Jose Halfin also able to get through another one of the RPG carts.
Yeah, Halfin there now up in the 5th place behind him. Christia. So Pettit's the one that's lost out in a couple spots here on this second lap. But again, a long main event. Still 18 laps to go. That's double what these guys are used to from the pre-finals earlier today. So a long ways to go here. And I can't fail to note, it's gotten hotter. Usually as the day goes on, right, we reach that peak at 12, 1 o'clock, and it gets colder, but it's gotten hotter as the day's gone on because the cloud cover's gone away. The sun's poking out here through our booth. So, again, this is going to be kind of a new situation in terms of setup. Obviously, yesterday was pretty hot, but nonetheless, a new day. And Vanchev back up the P2 behind him. Halfin tried to make it stick, and he does on Max Weiland. Pettit now through as well in Christie.
Alex has obviously been down pit lane throughout the day, so he's been able to feel trackside the temperature changes throughout the day, the sun coming out as he had said. And I love that. It's always that challenge for the mechanics, right? Where do we go tire pressure? Are we going to get some sun? All of a sudden, are we going to get the minute the sun starts beating down, the asphalt of the track will really start to heat up with the direct sunlight. So we'll see who's played it correctly and who's got the kart that's going to be good in that, that latter quarter, latter half of the race. We're still very early, as we had said, only a couple laps in the books right now. Salomao, Toniolo, Vanchev, Weiland, and Halfin for the top 5 last time by the stripe. Christie was up into 6th. Pettit 7th, Truchot 8th, Benito 9th, and Malkin in the 10th spot. Isaac Malkin started 14th, was able to get his way up to 10th. There's the driver dropping a wheel. That, I believe, was Edward Kennedy on the Energy. He had worked his way up to 10th spot. May have lost a spot there, dropping a wheel on the outside of turn number 1.
Yeah, I think Kennedy had some help there on the entering turn number 1. So good job to keep the kart facing the right way and on the racetrack for the most part. But here's a good look at Travis Pettit, the all-green TB machine there through the sweeper, trying to stick with Max Weiland behind him. Alessandro Truchot, whenever he comes back to the States, whenever he's not running WSK over in Europe, he's very quick. He tests a lot down there at Homestead. He's doing a lot of OK driving as well, OKJ. So still getting acclimated back up to the 100cc stuff as he's made his way back up into direct drive machinery over in Europe. But always good to have him here stateside. Usually a very quick driver, getting used to it all, like I mentioned. And again, top 10 in this field, it's always a stout field, no matter how many drivers move up or down throughout the year.
I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I believe a couple of Winter Series championships for Truchot in the micro category, maybe even one in mini as well, or maybe just a back-to-back micro. So I'd have to ask David Cole for that confirmation. But nonetheless, he's always come back over here, done a great job. Homestead kind of his home track, Alex, as you had mentioned, not so much up here at Orlando. So getting settled in, but showing good pace still here, running inside the top 10, as we know. Salomao is still up front. The gap just a little over a half a second from Alex Vanchev. He has been able to go by his teammate Augustus Toniolo as the RPG drivers now run 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's a chain, very likely, that's gone awry. So we'll see if someone slows up. Did that look like a chain to you?
Yeah, I thought for a second it was going to be Salomao's, but
I'm waiting for somebody to slow down.
Yeah, but it looked like it caught him off guard because last time around, Salomao was a couple of tenths slower than Vanchev. Now Vanchev's hot on his tail here, so we're going to have a battle for the lead brewing up here. You see the signal from Toniolo to Vanchev saying, listen, we have 3 RPGs in the train. I'm not gonna go against you. I'm going to work with you here. Coming out of turn 4, expect a move here from Vanchev.
Yeah, as Vanchev looking to the inside, he points him through, going to try to see if he can't bring Toniolo with him. He does. Not able to bring Halfin as well, as it's getting ganged up there as well. Salomao. All those RPG cards around him. In fact, I think, let's see what happens here with Pettit. Where is he going to go? Pettit's going to the inside. Halfin may lose a spot. Indeed, he does. He's not able to get the pass done on Salomao. And very well played, I believe, there by Travis Pettit, as we're still going too wide further back. Pettit going to make the move to the inside right now. Pettit holds off the first pass to get him through and from Halfin, and then is able to get the job done on Salomao. Those were a couple of really nice corners for Pettit, really trying to use the strategy to make sure he would come out on top.
Yeah, I actually don't think he even made a move. He just let the other ones go for it, part the C's for him here, and now you see Salomao parking the bus on the inside of 1. Truchot's going to follow through. Christie wanted the over-under, didn't get it. And now Pettit following through, and again, Pettit doing what he did last lap, just seeing what the drivers are doing and going the other way. Truchot to the inside, go to 3rd.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. Christie wanted that over-under so badly, couldn't quite get it done. But this is, again, one of those situations where there's a driver off on the outside, another Orsolon car.
I think Christie might have to get that spot back. He made the move into turn number 5, and I saw the yellow waving. I don't know how late that yellow was, but I think that kart was there before Christie made the move. So let's see if Max notices it and maybe gives that move back. But I'm not 100% sure if the yellow was out, but it looked like it.
Trying to figure out which driver that was off the racetrack. Trying to figure out who has not come back around. Ellie Steinbrook, Maddie Grace, and Gabriel Balog. Balog out the opening lap. Looks like Steinbrook and Grace both done on lap number 5, so that could have been one of those drivers off the racetrack. Nonetheless, look at this gaggle of cars we have up front. Just an absolute train. No one's pulled away at all in terms of that next group. This is the battle up front that the leaders have, but that next group is just so tight. That's essentially, I want to say, Christia. You keep looking probably all the way back to maybe Jaramillo. That's how tight they are.
Oh.
No, that's not good. That is not good when you drop the wheels coming out of turn number 5. You lost at least 3 spots. Was that Truchot?
Yeah, that was Pettit getting a little bit rough there on Truchot. It's It's the problem when you're on the outside of turn 4. There's really not a lot of places to go, and that exit curbing on 4 is really aggressive. You see a lot of drivers actually avoid it because it tends to pull you out to the grass, just like Isaac Malquit there in the exit of turn number 9.
So are you calling that, the map we have calls that 5, but it probably more of a 4. Anyways, I'm going off the SCUSA map I've got here right now. Whatever it is, it's the right-hand corner that comes up there, which is such an overtaking opportunity. This is the battle we continue to watch here. There's a number of them on the racetrack that have been fantastic here so far, and a number of drivers asking for help up front. There's no doubt about that. Christia, Salomao, Weiland, Pettit, as we have a 2-driver breakaway. Toniolo and Vanchev, the 2 RPG drivers, have checked out. They've got over 2.5 seconds on the field.
Yeah, last time around, Toniolo got around Vanchev. Look at the amount of dirt on the racetrack. Exit of turn number 5. You shouldn't really be down there, but if somebody's going for a late lunge into 6, you might catch yourself braking where there's not a lot of grip. You see the move there from Salomao. He's now the new leader of this train. Christie, I've thought about it, but he has to also think about the 5 go-karts behind him, so you can't make a move and then get crossed up.
Let's give Salomao some props. He was kind of going backwards, right? He was the one that was getting kind of eaten up on everybody. They were using him as a punching bag a little bit. Christie was in there. Pettit was in there. They were all trying to find a way by. Not happy. He was able to get his elbows back up and get back into the fight.
Yeah, you can see this train continuing to brew up here at Pettit. Now, we saw him. He was one of the drivers we were kind of raving about earlier, making his way forward. He was in the top 3 at one point. Now, unfortunately, he's looking back. Behind him, Felipe Benito in that 9th spot. So I think Pettit, one of those drivers we mentioned earlier who, let's see who can get the setup right or wrong. It looks like maybe he was one of the guys that just went the wrong way with the setup.
Yeah, good out of the gate, but is he going to be good in the second half? Right now, like you said, got more elbows up, thinking more of the drivers behind him than attacking those in front of him right now. It's Max Weiland, Victor de Alencar, and Tyler Kemper Jr. right in front of him right now, trying to get themselves in a better spot forward. There's Kemper making a great move to the inside there as well. So Tyrone Kemper trying to get another spot. The car with the 0 graphics on the front is de Alencar. That's kind of easier to pick up. No bodywork, or at least no graphics on de Alencar's machine. The number 6-7, he currently runs in the 6th spot. This is Tyrone Kemper battling it out here as well with Pettit. Some really good racing. They go back to the inside. Also in there is the 45 of Felipe Benito. So this is all great racing outside the top 5 right now.
Fantastic racing here outside the top 5. Still, your top 2 are separated by less than a tenth, basically, right? The 2 RPG drivers, we can expect them to hash it out in the final 2 laps, maybe even the final lap. So I don't suspect that they will make any errors, but behind them, Salomao, Christia, de Alencar, Weiland now in between a sandwich of de Alencar and Tyrone Kemper Jr. for that top 5 position.
Just into the halfway point now, 10 laps down, 10 to go, working lap number 11. Fastest driver on the racetrack right now, Alessandro Truchot. We talked about him getting shoveled off on the outside of turn number 5, but he does have the fast lap at a 56.944. He's 1.6 seconds behind Tristan Murphy in 15th, so that issue put him much deeper into the field, having started up in the 10th position. More of the battle up front here, and here is the lead group here. It's, again, the 866 right there behind the 838. Augustus Toniolo leading the way. Alexander Vanchev runs in second, so it's an RPG 1-2. Theo Salomao running in the 3rd spot ahead of Max Christia, Victor de Alencar, Max Weiland, and Tyrone Kemper Jr. You got to go almost a second back to Travis Pettit, who now runs in 8th. Julian Rivera a couple seconds back at 9th, and Filippo Benito rounding out the top 10. Rivera starting in the 18th spot, split the difference for him. He's moved up to 9th, so a strong run into the top 10 for Julian Rivera in the number 804. Otherwise, into the second half of this race, again, working lap number 11 laps down, working lap 12. So 9 laps remaining in our first of 8 main events to kick off this year's Winter Series.
So here's the situation we have. I mean, I don't expect the 2 RPG drivers to fight up front, but if they do, we're going to have another race on our hand because they were actually the slowest drivers of the top 8. Salomao, Christia, they were faster. They're working together. Weiland got around de Alencar. He's actually the fastest of the top 5. Kemper Jr. was also quickest the lap before last lap before they started battling further back. That's the 882. It looks like Martin Jamarillo, he gets around Tristan Murphy up in the 13th now.
You're right. It's interesting, right? So both Toniolo and Vanchev, identical 57.248s last time, almost 2:10 slower than Salomao. They're still up by 2.6 seconds, yes, and there's only, 8 laps to go, but they're not running blistering times. Let's put it that way. Whether they're either settling back a little bit, taking their time, and hopefully the drivers behind them are going to battle, or they just don't have the pace, the same kind of pace second half. There they are up front there. This is the second group, and as Alex mentioned, they're working together. That's Salomao and Max Christia. Both those drivers are working together right now. They were significantly quicker. Christia was over 2/10 faster than Toniolo and Vanchev. So if there's any kind of light in terms of having a story before this is all said and done, that's going to be it there, the outright pace of the drivers from third and fourth.
Yeah, 3 more tenths taken out of that lead for your third and fourth place drivers. So, like you mentioned, 2.5 seconds, it's a big buffer. If Toniolo and Vanchev wait until the last lap, most likely will not get that time. But if they decide to battle with 2 to go, even 3 to go, this track, it's inviting. It has so many opportunities to make moves, but also a lot of opportunities to make mistakes, to go side by side through corners. And that's ultimately gonna slow you up. So if you're Vanchev, if you're Toniolo, and I bet the entire RPG crew on the fence line is saying, listen, let's just wait to the final lap here, guys. Hash it out. It's a 1-2 no matter what.
Well, and Alex, and on the flip side of that, what kind of patience do we see out of Max Christia? The minute he decides he's going to go to work on to try to get by Salomao, they're going to lose some pace as well, right? So I'm not saying that Kemper Jr. runs in fifth or Weiland are going to be able to close up, and you can see behind them, are they going to be able to battle them? But will that hurt their potential drive to try to get to the leaders? It'll be up to Christia right now to a certain extent to see if he'll wait to the very end, to see if he will trust on those two drivers working together to close up. Because there's Tyrone Kemper, there's Max Weiland. Right behind them is Travis Pettit and Victor Dalankar as well. That is what, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and they're pretty quick as well. In fact, Kemper did a 56.872. He was 2/10 quicker than the leaders as well. Everybody behind
Pettit just went purple.
Is 2/10 quicker. You're with a 56.6.
We were just talking about how maybe he missed the setup, maybe still the opposite direction, right? He might have started too low on pressures, and now the kart's coming in with 5-6 laps to go. Still maybe slightly the wrong way, but Travis Pettit's in with a shout at a top 5, which is solid for the green machine there. But Kemper Jr., his kart's been on rails all race long. I've been looking at his lap times. They've been within a 10th or 2, except for when he's been stuck in battle with Weiland and other drivers here. So coming to 5 laps to go, again, Salomao, Christia, a 1/10.5 quicker than your 2 leaders. So they're inching away at it here, and with 4 and 3 to go coming up, if they can get within 1.8, 1.7 seconds, that's usually the window in which all of a sudden they battle for a couple of laps. You're back in the mix again. So this is all still to play for. If you're Salomao, if you're Christia, if you're Kemper Jr., I wouldn't want to fight like I have been, as we see Kemper Jr. losing 2 spots to Weiland and Pettit.
Yeah, exactly that. Just stay in there, man. Especially when you're a fast driver like that, laying down good laps. Weiland now with a fast lap of 56.621. Last time by, he was over 3/10 quicker than Toniolo. So really, it's that next group that's kind of closing up. You can see everybody slowly starting to tighten up with the laps. They are most definitely winding down. The 2 RPG drivers up front, Toniolo and Vanchev, still remain in control. 2.2 seconds the lead that they have over top of Salomao and Christia. They've really only been getting about a 1/10 of a second over the last couple of laps. Not enough to fight for it still. And you'll wait to see whether or not Christia says, hey, you know what, I'm ready to go to third here pretty soon. I don't want to lose a spot if those guys behind me are closing up. I'd rather be in front and let you paddle out, not me. Otherwise, the pole sitter, Salomao, looking to try to come away with at least a podium finish to start off the Winter Series here. Again, all these drivers, all 44 on the racetrack, had to race their way into this event. Top 22 from each pre-final, right into the main event. The rest just raced in that B main. No LCQ this year, no transfers. Right into their own B main. So you got to get the job done in the pre-finals. All of these drivers deserve the credit for that. But right now, still watching this battle. Down to 2/10 of a second back, Salomao from Vanchev, but again, only 4 laps to go.
They're going to get there. I really do think they're going to get there. As long as Toniolo, keeps its wits about them and, doesn't go for a move into the last couple of corners. Yeah. But if they decide to battle with 2 to go, with 1 to go, they're close enough to where if you go side by side for 2 or 3 corners, all of a sudden you can, without realizing, lose a 1.5 seconds. It's really easy to do. It's under 2 seconds, which, like I mentioned a lap ago, that's usually the window. If you're within 1.8, 1.7 seconds, you can make that up in a lap if they start the battle.
Now, Alex, a clean pass is one thing, but if they battle, like you said, if you're side by side through a couple of corners, and all of a sudden you're losing a couple of 10s, 3/10, like you said, 1.87 seconds. There's the gap right now. The 2 leaders, 1-2. Right behind them is 3-4. Vanchev and Toniolo versus Salomao and Christia. Pettit leads the next group as he tries to reel in. You can see Pettit coming in there. He's got, I believe, Max Weiland and Tyrone Kemper Jr. right with them as well. Now listen, we're going to get fights for all of these positions regardless. We're going to get a fight for the lead, we're going to get a fight for third, and we're going to get a fight for fifth before it's all said and done. 2 laps to go, and it's the veteran Alexander Vanchev, I believe, who's gone to the lead. Vanchev leads Toniolo into second. So he did make the move. The gap now 1.8.
Defending.
There you go.
Defending into 5. Vanchev defends early. I'm surprised that Toniolo gave him the signal on the straightaway saying, listen, I'm going to work with you. And we all know that's universal for, I'm probably not going to work with you, but as your teammate, it's probably the one guy I would trust out there. But Vanchev, 2 times this lap already going defensive, make it 3 times, and all of a sudden Salomao's rubbing his hands together saying, yes, keep doing this. There's still a lap to go.
Yeah, there is indeed. Vanchev, as I said before, dominated both of his pre-finals from not used to, maybe not even expecting having to battle at all here. He was able to stretch away. Toniolo, the first driver to have a look over. He sees what we got going on here right now. Let's see what we get from the RPG drivers. Big defensive run for Vanchev down the bottom of turn number 13. Here's exactly what Alex says. Side by side coming up into turn number 1. Potential contact. White flag flying. They are going to battle each other. Check it out here, folks, coming through, and he is right there.
Salamao to 2. Christie to 3.
Let me give you props. Searle called it, folks. Look at this battle. It was 2 seconds, and they're on top of it. Alexander Searle called it. Bring him home, buddy.
Vanchev still leads there, so he actually got what he wanted. He defended. He still leads. Toniolo, the biggest loser out of all of this, and he's in the wall. Oh, that's going to be, I believe, the 838 machine. That is Toniolo in the wall with Pettit. Vanchev through turn 7. Christia and Salamao there down through turn 9 onto the back straightaway, Rob.
Oh my God, Alex, you called it. Vanchev still with the lead. Pettit and Toniolo, the 2 drivers coming out of the bottom of this one. Look at the drivers who have worked their way up front here. Christia's right into it. This is a crazy finish, and indeed it all came down to that battling all the way up into turn number 1. There's the 815 digging in. That's Salamao trying to hold on as well. But the driver is going to come out with this one here. Wow, the 866 of Alexander Vanchev is going to get the win. Salamao comes home